Okay, good afternoon. I'll walk you through how to do the first four parts of the train. They're not terribly hard. There are going to be some new concepts here, but nothing to be afraid of. First thing you want to do, my screen I know looks a little different than what you have. On my laptop next door, I have an older version. I will upgrade it before the week is out. So it's going to look a little different, but the part of our tools that we're using are all in the same place. So we're not going to do a new project for this one. Saving in the tutorial file is perfectly fine. So we'll click on here, go to New Part, and it opens up a new part down at the bottom here. First thing we're going to do is going to be the hitch magnet, which is really, really easy. The only change we're going to have you do here is we have you guys start on the XZ plane, the flat one here. We're going to use a circle tool, click and release right at the center because you want this. Essentially, all you're doing here is two circles and extrusion. You want to be sure the circles have the exact same center. So right at the center of the axes here, you see the green dot. You see the green dot, that's perfect. Click and release, move out. The first one is 0.45 inches. Enter, that one's all set. Move over that axis again, right at the center, green dot, perfect, 0.25 inches. And finish the sketch. Next thing we have to do is extrude it. So we'll go up to our extrusion tool. Let me get back to my instructions. Instructions are up there on the desk in a folder marked train model. Don't panic if you look at it and say, I have no idea what he's talking about here. The instructions are a little tricky, but I'm walking you through a few of the parts, so it won't be that bad. So we'll go to extrude. That outside is going to be 0.25. And that part's done. Save it as hitch magnet. Hitch magnet. Done. Okay, now you can go up to File New, but also on the bottom, left-hand corner of the screen, you see that little home icon. You can go that and go back to your main screen, choose New Part. The next one we're going to do, I'm going to use the order I have on the second page for this one. It's a little different than what's in the first page. My fault, I'll get that changed. We'll again start a 2D sketch, and again I want to start it on the XZ plane. It just goes a little better that way. Now we're building the smokestack here. First thing we want to do is start effectively at the bottom of it. If you look carefully at the plan, you've got a 1/2 inch diameter circle. That little circle with the slash through it means diameter. It's going to be extruded 1/4 inch, 0.25. So let's go ahead and do that. 0.5, enter. Finish sketch, extrude, 0.25. We got it right there. Next thing we need is a draw on another sketch for another. We're going to need to make another sketch, another circle, but we need to put it actually above this right here. So to do that, we need to create a plane. Up in the center of your screen, you see a section there marked Work Features. Click the drop down on there, and you want to choose an offset from plane. We're going to offset it from the top here. And if you look at the plan, you'll see that our next circle needs to be 1.5 inches from the bottom. This is not the bottom. So what we're going to do is go type 1.5 minus 0.25. If you see a problem like this that involves some adding or subtracting within the plans, let Inventor do the math for you. Inventor will work. You don't need a calculator, you don't need your phone. Let Inventor do the work for you. Might not see it till you click on the home key, but right there we have a new plane. You see it's called Work Plane 1. That's fine. We'll select that plane and we'll start a new sketch. This circle is going to have a diameter of 1.25 inches, so 1.25. Same center as the others. 1.25. Enter. Finish sketch. Now we have to connect these. To connect circles of different sizes and different planes or any shape that's similar on a different plane, usually a distance above or below it, you have to use a feature of that is known as a loft. Here's how it works. Right up here under Create, we'll choose Loft, choose the top circle, and choose the top of this shape down here. Click OK. We got it. Now we're going to do a new sketch on the top of the loft that we just made. So we'll again choose that plane up top there, new sketch. We're not actually going to draw anything here. I just want to go to project geometry and project that circle. Because what we're going to do is we're going to actually extrude that circle outward, but not extrude it straight up. We're going to taper the sides in a bit. Finish sketch. So we'll go to extrude. You see it's already starting up there. Again, you can do the math here or look at the plans for part number 2, the smokestack, and see that the extrusion is 1/4 inch, 0.25. Then we want to go down to advanced properties where it says taper A. Look carefully at the plan to see that it tapers inward 15 degrees. If we type in 15 there, it's tapering outward. Not what we want. So let's go back and make it -15. That's what we want to see. Click OK. All right, so now we got to do another sketch at the top here. So select that shape right at the top, create sketch. And looking at the top there, you see there's a hole cut in there. It is a 7/8 inch diameter hole, which is 0.875, and it is a 3/8 depth, 0.375. That's what those symbols mean. So first things first, we'll make the circle. 0.875. Finish sketch. We'll then extrude it inward. Excuse me. Inward 0.375. Enter. That one's all set. And I'm going to drag the view cube so I can look inside the smokestack here. Click and drag with the view cube. You can see right inside it. And on the inside of the view cube, I'm going to make a new sketch. I'll select that face, new sketch. Perfect. Now, if you look inside there, you'll see that we have a hole going deep down into the smokestack that is 0.375 wide. We don't have a really good idea about the depth, so we can estimate what the depth is. First things first, we'll put the 3/8 inch circle in there. Okay, finish sketch, extrude. We're going to cut in. My guess, looking at it, is about 1 inch. You do that, see how deep it goes. It does not go all the way to the bottom. That's exactly what we want. So we'll click OK, and now the smokestack's done. Go ahead and save it. Okay, next we have to do a couple pegs, and they are a bit different. We'll do the hitch peg first, then the axle peg. So we'll again go back to our home key, do a new part, go to and start 2D sketch. Now we're back on the XY plane. First thing we want to do, we want to draw a line straight up and down 0.65 inches. Right click, choose OK, because the next line we're going to do is going to be down toward the bottom, down in this area here. Again, go back to the line tool. When you reach the bottom of the line, you see that green dot. That's perfect. Click and release. Move over, and if you look carefully at the hitch peg plan, number 4 there, you'll see that the diameter of the hitch peg is 0.25 inches. What we're going to do here, though, is we're going to make the profile, literally the shape that's shaded in gray there, and then do what's called a revolve. So we only need half of the diameter or the radius, so it's going to be 0.125. Straight up, the plan shows you it's 0.5. 0.5. Let me get that line back. Right click, choose OK. Now we need to do a little different line on here, what's called a construction line. You see that the next one over there, where the ledge starts on the peg there, or where the lip on the peg starts, there's a diameter of 0.4. We need to make a construction line, effectively a fake line that tells us where the real line needs to go, start or end. To make a construction line, right under here, under Format, you see what looks like an angled line there. Click on that, and then you want to click on the line tool. So you want to mouse over here. You'll see that right at where that line ends, there's a little dotted line that goes back to our original line. Click where that original line is, come over to the right, and it's going to be 0.2, 0.4 divided by 2. Right click OK, turn off the construction line. If you leave the construction line on, it's going to make every line a construction line, and then you can't do anything with it. Now I'm going to get rid of the dimensions because they're kind of in the way. All right, so where that line is, we're going to go back to our line tool. Be sure it's not a construction line. Click where that half-inch line ended. Go over to the right where that construction line ends. Right click, choose OK. We can then go ahead and trim away the construction line because we don't need it anymore. Last thing to do, and I'm going to use the hand tool to pan up here a little bit so we see it a little easier, is we have to make a little curved edge there between our two lines to finish the shape. That's what's called an arc. So we'll select the arc tool. The basic 3.1 works fine. Click and release where that longer line ends. Click and release where our last line ends. We see green dots what happens. Then we can flex it a bit. You see that the radius of the arc is 0.208 inches. And with that, our sketch is done. We can click Finish Sketch. To revolve it, you want to go to our Revolve tool right next to Extrude. You'll see it already has the profile there because we don't have any extra lines. The profile is right there. The axis, we're going to choose the main line over here. Right there. And we got it. Click OK. Now that shape is done. Go ahead and save it as Hitch Peg. Okay, now on the worksheet on your computer, go to part number 6 or flip over the page. This one's a little trickier. It might be the trickiest one I show you today. We're going to go ahead and make one more new part. We'll start a 2D sketch, and this one, again, we will start on XY. Again, we're going to make a profile and then revolve it. First things first, look at the part, and you'll see some things that you might not understand. See that it says it's /20 UNC times 1. What that means is that the diameter of this peg is a quarter inch, 0.25. 20 UNC times 1 means that that section is an inch long and there's 20 threads per inch. One of the very last things we do with this is add threads to it. So that's the first thing we're going to do is we'll make a line going straight up 1 inch. Right click, choose OK. Down at the bottom of that original line, we'll make a line that's 0.125, 0.25 divided by 2. The center, go straight up another inch. Now we're not going to finish out that top. Right click and choose OK. Again, I'll pan so we can see we're doing it a little easier. All right. Now at this top section, we need to make the little lip on the screw there. If you look at the diameter of the little lip there, it's 0.422. So we're going to make a line coming over here to our right, 0.211. That's 0.422 divided by 2. Again, we want the diameter for the part here, not the radius. They're giving us the radius. Just divide it by 2. Then we're going to go up at the end of that, 0.031 inches. Really tiny. Right click, choose OK. Now the dimensions, if they're in the way for you, you know they're right, you can go in and erase them. Up top here, that's where we really need them. The top section of the screw where the lip is and where the top section there where the lip is and where we're going to put in our hex hole is total 1.25. So over here on the left hand side, we're going to make a line going straight up, 0.125. Enter. Right click, choose OK. At the top there, you'll see that again has a 1/4 inch diameter. So again, we got to make a quarter inch diameter. So we need an 1/8 inch radius, 0.125. Right click, choose OK. To connect these again, we're going to need an arc. So we'll choose our 3-point arc tool, click and release where that line ends, click and release where that line ends, and you see our radius is 0.236. We can trim away one line, but I think it's going to fight me because there's a dimension on it. Oh, no, there isn't anymore. So we'll go to trim. This line here we don't need. We got the shape done. So we'll go ahead and click Finish Sketch. Click on the home there to see the whole thing. Then we'll revolve it. Already has the profile. Now we just got to choose the axis right here. We got the screw all set. Click OK. We'll focus on the bottom first because this one gets a little tricky. If you see the bottom there, it says 45 degrees times 0.03. What they want you to do there is called a chamfer. Essentially, it's a little slanted edge. So we'll choose our chamfer tool right here under Modify. We get options there. Either we can just do by distance or distance and angle. We want the distance and angle. Click on the edge where we want it here. Distance is 0.03. Angle is 45. Actually, I'll select face. There, click on the edge, and we got it. Click OK. Next thing, we'll go ahead and add the threads. So we'll click on our thread section under Modify, right next to chamfer on mine. We want to click on this surface, and it gives us options. 1/4 20 UNC. Exactly what we wanted. Click OK. Now let's use the view cube to take a close look at the top. The top here, they want us to put in a hexagon. So you use a hex key to loosen it or tighten it. So we're going to choose that surface, do a new sketch on it. Underneath rectangle, you want to go down to the bottom and you see polygon. First option is sides. We want to choose 6 sides. And we're going to draw outward from the center. Really, you can stop anywhere so long as it's on that shape because we need to modify the size. Okay, right click, choose OK. Now, if you look on there, you'll see that it is 5/32 across. So we're going to choose dimension, click on one side of the hexagon, click on the opposite side of it. Click on the dimension that comes up, 5/32. Click OK. And that sketch is done. Now it's 0.111 inches in, so we'll choose extrude. We're going to cut in 0.111. And you just made a pretty tricky part. That part is done. Go ahead and save it as axle peg. And you just got 4 parts done, which is really good. If you got through it in class, that is awesome. I did put something else out there in Classroom for you to look at, so now you got time to do it. And I will see you on Monday.